from this sketch to this painting. Today I'm sharing the process of the first artwork of my new series titled The Peaceful Warrior. It's a series of 3 illustrations and they belong to a bigger collection titled Whispers of Strength that is inspired in my love for martial arts, because martial arts remind us that true strength emanates from the whispers of determination that arise from within. And I want to create like a body of work that underscores the importance of the inner growth and resilience. And I want to emphasize in this collection the value of cultivating mental discipline and emotional fortitude. And I hope that these artworks invite viewers to explore the synergy between seemingly contradictory aspects of their lives and find balance. What you're seeing here is usually the process that I follow for my watercolor paintings, which is first do the light work in a thin paper where I put the main, compositions of elements and lines after my rough sketches of the poses. And when that is done and I'm happy with how the whole drawing is done, then I pass it with my light box onto the watercolor paper, which is 100% cotton and 300 grams. So the paper is quite thick, and I don't really see the lines very clear all of the times. Yeah, I have to put my studio in darkness so I see proper light with the light box, and sometimes depends on how I made the previous drawing is easier than others. I try to do the previous drawing with quite thick lines and quite a lot of strength in my lines, so I can see really good the marks, because otherwise it's quite hard to trace in this thick paper. But as you can see here, this one wasn't that difficult, and a lot of the times if I don't see something properly, it doesn't matter because I just improvise the lines. Though I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and a lot of the times I like better the first drawing than the second one. I guess it's because it's a bit more spontaneous. My lines and the way I did the lines with the pencil was a bit more expressive and spontaneous, and redrawing on the top of the lines it feels a bit more stiff, and not always super happy with the second one, but it's gonna be painted anyways, and I'm gonna usually draw the lines on the top, so it's fine. Here once the drawing is done, I usually use my masking fluid around the main figures, around the main characters, so I can do first the background very clean and without the fear of getting into the characters. And it's also a way for me to be able to do some splashes and do different layers, over layers. As you can see here, I paint in different sessions. Once the first layer is dry, I need to wait, and then I go for the second one, different parts of it, and the masking fluid allows me to be much more clean in the way I'm working with my watercolors, and also leave some blank spots in some areas where I want to leave the white paper. That's a very good way of doing it as well. Once that's done, I take out the masking fluid. It stays like a gum. It's funny, sometimes it's not as funny as others because it gets quite stuck on the paper. Depends on how much I put and the quality of the paper. Though this one, to be honest, in the cotton paper is much better than in other papers that are, worse quality. And if you're using masking fluid, consider a good quality masking fluid as well, because some of them get into the paper too much and they leave some kind of dirtiness. So the one that I use is really good at the moment. I'm quite happy with it. And one here, you're seeing my process of painting the dragon body. And as you can see here, I'm just trying to do a flat layer. If you heard me in my previous videos, how I talk about using watercolors, it is important if you're trying to paint a whole area with the same kind of like a flat color without really doing textures or effects. It's important that you keep in mind that your brush is all the time with water, so it doesn't dry out, because otherwise that will leave a mark on the paper. So as you can see here, I'm just dragging the drop continuously in the same direction. If I need double, like for example right now, I want to make like a double layer, so that area is gonna be darker, and you can see already that the effect looks darker. Otherwise, I continue just moving forward the drop of water that is at the front of my brush. Once that first layer is done, I continue doing layers to do the effects of, dark parts or some details, for example here on the scales of the dragon. Sometimes I use the same color, depends on the effect. Sometimes I use different color to create the shadows and the 3D volume. It's important to consider what kind of colors you use, because in watercolors there are some hues that for some reason the kind of material leaves like bits of the grains of the paint, and it doesn't look as clean as others. I will give you some examples in another video, especially some blues. They leave like marks of the material. After my dragon is done, I usually go one character at a time. So I usually go for backwards to forward. So once I'm happy with the dragon, in this case there is a dragon with two heads. So then I go for the main character, and in different parts as well, from back to forward kind of. So as you can see here, some parts of the hair are forward, but in general it's kind of like I see as behind, if you want to see that one. So after the hair and the different layers of the blue for the hair, I just go for the clothes, and I use my bigger brush here because it's quite a big area and I'm not doing many effects here, so it's a very big wash, quite expressive. Just trying to do some shades in some parts, like you can see here, to create a bit of volume, but in an anime style, so it's not super realistic with the volume, just a bit of shadows and so on. And once the volume and the shades and all that is kind of created and the flat color is done, then dry, then I go for the details of the clothing, and I am not trying to do something realistic or just trying to insinuate that there are some patterns in the clothing, and that's it. Because in this illustration I'm trying to be very expressive, and I want to leave marks, and I don't want to create something that is hyper detailed of how it will look in real life, but kind of like more cartoonish anime. So this is how it finished. This is the first line drawing I did after my few sketches with the pose. and this is how the final looks like. These are the 3 from the collection together in my table. They barely fit because they are A3 size, and this is the one that I just shared the process. I got some footage on my Insta for you to see this one. I didn't record the whole thing, and I think I got some footage from this one as well. And let's see if I can put something together or here or in any other video platforms. Hope you like them 3. They are in my shop.